Okay, so we're back messing around with the pegboard toy. The next challenge is to make a triangle peg and to edit our assembly to allow the triangle peg to sit between the circle and the square. So you remember how crazy it was to dimension the circle and the square? Now we're going to add a third component to that in the form of a triangle peg. All right. The first thing is to make a new part file. We'll be making the triangle peg. Now, to make a triangle peg, it's very similar to making the square or the circle peg. We're going to make the profile of a triangle first and then extrude it 3 inches. Now this triangle, we can find underneath a rectangle, or we're going to go down to polygon. Now this polygon, since it's a triangle, will have 3 sides, just type in 3. Do not click done yet, otherwise you'll have to go through it again. Just click 3, and then we'll place a point somewhere on your page, and now you can see we can make a triangle. You can do this with any polygon, hexagons, heptagons, octagons, whatever. So go ahead and make a triangle. We'll dimension it here in a second. Let's actually go to dimension and dimension it. We'll make it a 1-inch tall triangle. So click on the top of the triangle to the bottom of the triangle. This will give us a dimension, and we'll make it 1 inch. There's our 1-inch triangle. All right, we'll finish our sketch. And we'll extrude this triangle 3 inches. And there's our 3-inch triangle peg. So I'm going to go ahead and color this as well. Now make it blue like the rest of my parts. And then we'll save this as the triangle peg. I'll call it tri-peg. Alright, so our triangle peg is complete. And then now we're going to work on our pegboard assembly, so we can put a triangle peg hole in there for the triangle peg. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and open up our pegboard. And we're actually going to go ahead and edit our old sketch. So to edit this sketch with the circle and the square peg hole in it, we're going to go to Extrusion 2. We're going to right click and go to Edit Sketch. So here's our sketch from before. I'm going to go ahead and delete these 2 constraints. Delete and delete. I'm just going to click on the edge of this to move it over a little bit, and the center of this to move it over the circle. I'm going to draw another polygon with 3 sides for the triangle. I'll draw my triangle about right here. Click. And I'm going to make sure that this is horizontal down here, so a horizontal constraint for the bottom of this, just so it's nice and level. And then we'll place our dimensions for the triangle. This should be a 1-inch high triangle. Let's make that 1 inch so it matches our triangle peg. Alright, and now we need to center these all across the board. So, to center the circle, last time we did 5.75 divided by 3. This time we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, so we need to divide by 4. And that should get us right about there. Alright, so I played around with this triangle a little bit, and here's what we need to do with it. Since it has a center point, all we need to do is go to Dimension, go from the left side to the center point, and this dimension is going to be half of 5.75. 5.75 divided by 2. That'll get us right in the middle. And then finally, for the square over here, we will need to subtract the ½ inch again. So it'll be 5.75 divided by 4 minus our 0.5 for half of our square to compensate for the center point. Alright, so now they're all centered horizontally. Now the vertical part is where it's going to get a little trickier for the triangle. So if we dimension from the top to the bottom, we're going to type in 3 divided by 2 and see what that gets us. That's pretty close, but it's still not quite in the center. It's still a little bit above the circle and the square. It still needs to come down a little bit more. So to edit a dimension, let's go ahead and click on it, and we're going to add a third of the triangle, and we'll see how that goes. So 1 inch divided by 3, we'll see if that gets us where we need to be. Not quite. So instead of trying a third, let's try 1/6. And that is a lot closer. That's actually pretty spot on right there. Alright, so we'll leave it at that. Now if we finish our sketch here, Our two circles are now spread apart a little bit more to make way for that triangle piece, but we can't see it. So to fix that, let's go to right-click Extrusion 2, or the extrusion where our holes are. We're going to go to Edit Feature instead of Sketch. And this time we're going to click on Profile to select another profile, and we're going to select that triangle in the middle. And I'll make our third hole, and we'll press OK. And there's our third hole, our triangle hole. So let's go ahead and save this pegboard. We'll go back to our pegboard assembly. And as you can see, our holes are made, but our assembly looks kind of funky. Some of our pegs are not going in the right hole. So we should be able to click Update Assembly. If I can find it, Local Update. That's what we want. We want to update the assembly, so click on that. That'll spread them out. So, so the pegs are going in the right places now. So the last thing we want to do is go to Place, and we're going to place the triangle peg. Place that in there. Press Escape, and then we're going to constrain this peg. Now to constrain this peg, we're going to constrain two parts, these two sides, to two sides of the peg. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it at Mate. So Mate and Mate. I'm going to click this inside piece. Now I'm going to click one side of my triangle peg, just like that. Click Apply. And the only other thing I need to do is click on one of the other faces, like this face. And I want this face to match up with this side. I'll do it this way. I want it to go around to that side of the hole. And then click Apply. Then we should be good. So if we go back home, all of our pegs should freely move up and down. And we are all set. Alright, go ahead and click Save. And that's it for this episode. Good job!